across your lap soon as you sat down. It's feeling like you own every place you choose to be at now. Walking through airport security with your hat down. Instead of getting a pat down, they just keep on saying that they feel you.
Yo, what is up guys? Willis back here again with a little different Afterpulse video. Probably going to be a pretty long one, so grab some snacks and stay tuned if you want to watch the whole thing. But we are going to be doing training with every assault rifle in the game. The first one is the A500 Cinnabar Edition. We're taking our KG18 as our secondary, although that will change for a couple of the setups that we use. More on that later on. But first one here, we'll just jump right into the action. I'll just kind of give you an overview of the gun, you know, a 360 view like I just did with the A500 Cinnabar there. And then we'll cut right into the training match, and it'll still be a pretty long video. I'm not going to spend hours and hours and hours editing it down to like a 10-minute video. So if you want to watch the whole thing, it will be decently long, but hopefully you enjoy it. And ultimately our goal is to see what is the currently best assault rifle for training in Afterpulse version 1.8.0. And I know the answer as I'm talking right now, but we'll get to that just in a couple weapons. It'll be very soon, so stay tuned. There is 100% a clear winner, although I should mention, I did say every assault rifle. We're actually not going to be using the AARS 15. We should call it like the double ARS. I feel like AARS just sounds like, as others have pointed out, like AARP. If you're in the US at least, you know what that is, I'm sure. I don't know, we should come up with a better name for that one. The ARS, that would just be bad. Doesn't really make sense. Anybody who uses it, probably an ARS. No, just kidding. I just say that because I don't have it right. I don't know, what could we call the AARS? I think double ARS. The battery RS. Maybe that's a cool name, since it's two A's, a double A battery. I don't know. Anyway, either way, we're just we're doing a training match with every assault rifle except the battery RS15. No, it just sounds stupid. We'll just say AARS 15. And so we're not going to do every skinned edition of every gun. That would just be insane. It's already going to be a crazy long video as is. And so, for example, we're doing the A500 Cinnabar here, which means we're not going to do the A500 Panther, the A500 non-skinned, the A500 Patriot, the Jade Edition, the Nightcrawler Edition. There's so many A500s edition. I think I just said 8500. A500s out there. And so we're coming to the end of our first training match here, and we'll see how we do in the score. And we're really only going to count the challenges in one of the certain columns. I forget the name, we'll see it here. But that's a decent match, at least numbers-wise, 44, 1, and 6. And yeah, so we're really only counting the challenges in the skill column. We got 2 challenges completed there. They are currently worth 25,000, which is a short-term, as far as we know, but we don't know the end date, kind of a short-term special event. They're usually 10,000. And so next one up is the CQR 2000 Atom. We'll jump right into that match. And so basically we're just going to compare how many challenges we can get in that skill column. Obviously daily column doesn't really count, even if we might complete like working out or something along the way here. I'm not even sure. And then the other one, I think it's called training. Obviously it was just on the screen and I should probably know this. But we're not going to count those. It's like those challenges for, you know, getting a certain number of kills with an assault rifle or getting a certain number of headshots. And I think killing the Mastodon like 50 times or something is in that column as well. Those just kind of come over time regardless. Like you could use a handgun. Well, there's no handgun specific challenges, but you could literally use a 1-star assault rifle and complete those challenges over time. So obviously the better your training gun is, the more often you'll get those challenges, but we're not going to necessarily count them if they show up here. You know, for example, if we get in the current implementation, since we're worth 25,000 a piece, say if we get 50,000 in rewards with the A500 like we just did, and then say we get the same rewards with this CQR2000 Atom, but we also get one of those challenges in that training section, we can't really say that the CQR2000 Atom is better. Like, that's definitely not conclusive in any way. Neither is this video, as we're just doing one training match with each assault rifle, obviously except for one, but you know, not conclusive, but there is a clear winner. I cannot be more clear on that. So you'll see that coming up, but overall with the CQR2000, it's hard to notice a difference other than the sound. You know, fire rate does seem a little faster, but it's hard to notice a difference from the A500. And I think what I say about these guns here doesn't necessarily apply to multiplayer. There's just so many different situations in multiplayer that you come across, and in training, at least I just sit in the same spot, and I know a lot of you guys do as well. Fix our stuck buttons by hitting pause and resume. But, you know, training, it's the same thing over and over, right? So certain guns might feel very similar in training and be completely different in multiplayer. So let's see how we did with the CQR2000. We got the same as the A500, 50,000, and yeah, like, we got assault weapons, Headhunter 3. We're not going to count that. We're not going to say like CQR2000 is better than A500 because we got 75,000 versus 50,000 with the A500. That's really not fair. So basically at this point, I'd call A500 and the CQR2000 equal in training. Obviously not an extensive test, but, you know, we'll see coming up here. And next one is the AC30 Dragon, 6 stars maxed. Almost all of the guns that we use in this video are going to be 6-star maxed skinned editions. There will be a couple regular ones, and I believe there might be, yeah, there should be one 7-star, which is my DMR 17. And then a couple of them will be 6 stars, and I think we use one 5-star that aren't quite max level, but a lot of them will be 6-star max level. As you saw so far, A500 Cinnabar 6 stars maxed, CQR2000 Atom 6 stars maxed, and now we got the AC30 Dragon 6 stars maxed, which is absolutely 100% surprising me. Maybe you have this gun laying around, maybe you took a break from the game and didn't build other guns like the CQR2000, some A500 skinned editions. You know, if you got an AC30, at least the Dragon edition, it is not bad. Like, it feels pretty good in training right now, I'm not gonna lie. Still not a huge fan of the sound on the AC30, never really was. And I don't know if it feels better. I wouldn't necessarily say that the AC30 feels better than it used to feel. I just think that the other guns like A500 and CQR2000 feel worse than they used to feel, so that kind of relatively gives the AC30 a boost, and I'm actually thoroughly impressed. And maybe my expectations were just extremely low going into this with the AC30, since you know, it's really not a gun you ever really see. We all pretty much know that it's not one of the more competitive guns in the game. There's no denying that. But I am, you know, genuinely impressed a little bit here with how the AC30 is doing. But with that said, we'll probably end up with the same 50,000, 2 challenges completed. We just got safe in the distance 3. Maybe we'll get more. I haven't really paid attention to what popped up yet. Looks like we're just ending now. Try to get a couple more kills from the balcony platform. I don't know what you call it. But we got 41 kills. Not our best. We did die 3 times. I think we die a couple times in each training match, but you know, I'm only so good, right? And so yeah, we got 75,000 all in the skill tab. So hesitantly, I say that the AC30 Dragon is better for farming than the CQR2000 Atom and the A500 Cinnabar. Could be wrong, could be just a fluke, but I was actually pretty impressed with that one. And so this one, I cut this video way too quick. I don't even have time to talk about what's on screen. But as you just saw, like, you know, a minute ago by now, but you saw the, what's this called? SMR 16 Autumn 6 stars maxed, and this is it. This is hands down, without a doubt, the best gun, at least assault rifle wise. I keep saying the best gun, I should say best assault rifle, because I don't really use precision. I'll try to do a precision video like this. If you guys like this, let me know in the comments. If you want, you know, a precision training video where I try each precision gun in training. Although you really only want the semi-auto ones. The bolt action aren't going to be useful in training. We just know that for a fact. But we could do a video trying out all the precision weapons in training. That would be interesting. And so, hands down, look at this. A minute 30 left. We already got safe in the distance 3. A minute 25 left. We already got reaching the limits 4. This is hands down the best gun. A minute 20 left. We got aim for the head 3. Holy crap, man. Without a doubt, SMR 16. I can only speak for the Autumn Edition here. I'm sure the regular one is pretty close and pretty decent. And what else do we have? The only other skin is the Patriot for the SMR 16, I believe. So I do have a couple of those. I got like a couple 4 stars and maybe 1 5 star, something like that. Haven't touched them at all. I would guess that the Autumn is just all around better. Stopping power is an interesting bonus, could be useful in certain situations, especially with a slow fire rate gun. But I think the Autumn will be better, and that's what we're using here. And obviously any skinned edition will just be hands down better than the non-skinned edition. And so this one is just off the charts impressive. Like it doesn't even compare to what we use so far, the A500, the CQR 2000, the AC30. I mean, just leaps and bounds above. For some reason, we're just getting a lot of headshots. And if you didn't notice, I'm wearing the full 6-star tactical beret gear set, which does give a huge advantage to assault rifles, but I'm keeping it consistent in that we're wearing that gear setup with every gun we use. So it's pretty much still a fair comparison, but we are getting a decent boost from that gear. And just like that, we got 51 kills. We got 25,000, 50,000, that's 2 challenges, 75,000, 3 challenges, and 100,000 in 1 training match. I never thought I'd see the day. So without a doubt, the best, and we'll jump into the next one. I'll try to talk about it while it's actually on screen. We got the Brw M18 Bravo, 6 stars maxed. Looks a bit different in the new lighting. Everything's just brighter. And so we'll run back over to our usual training spot and see what we can do with the BRW. Expectations a little low, but maybe we'll be surprised. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah. Already not feeling it. It's like, I feel like it's the in-between gun from the far end to the SMR 16. I feel like the BRW falls right in the middle nowadays, and that has certainly changed since the gun was first introduced. They did mess with the stats, they messed with some of the mechanics behind the scenes. As we know for a fact, there is more than just the stats that we see. So they can nerf, buff, change weapons without us even knowing for sure, except for, you know, testing them out, basing their, you know, judging their relative performance. But they can nerf and buff guns without us even knowing, just behind the scenes, not changing the actual stats. And, you know, one example is the BRW used to shoot through walls when it was first introduced. And so obviously there's some mechanics with the auto aim and certain attributes that each weapon has that affects how that auto aim works and locks on and targets, and the BRW's was a bit too strong or just plain buggy or something, and it would be able to somehow target and hit people that were behind barriers. So they did fix that, and when they fixed that, that didn't actually change anything in the stats. You know, one example of how they can change weapons behind the scenes. Another example, if we want to go down this road, is the Tiger weapons. At least from Gameville, it was confirmed by Gameville that the Tiger weapons, which have, they're saying is like an increased accuracy while on the move or whatever it is, one of the Gameville producers did say that description means that there's a boost behind the scenes, which is more than just the added accuracy or upgraded damage, whatever. There is something else behind the scenes. So those are just a couple examples. But either way, getting off track. We still got like 15 minutes to go probably, so it'll be a world record if I can talk this whole time. And there's the Brw M18 match completed. 42 kills. We didn't die at all that time, so that's something to keep in mind. We probably would have been like 35 to 38 kills or something like that if we died once or twice. And, you know, a couple challenges, but thoroughly unimpressed with the Brw M18. There is the Patriot Edition nowadays, so could be a little bit better, but I wouldn't put a lot of money into it. And now we got the AG10 Tiger, level 33, 6 stars. So this is going to be our AG10 edition of testing out assault rifles in training. And since recording this video, I have maxed out this guy. I don't have another 6-star for the time being, although I do have 2 5-stars, so if I want to spend a day grinding, I could easily make the 7-star of this guy now, and probably won't do it. I'll probably just keep the 6-star maxed for a while, but I'll try to be back with a review on that. I know I said it in some recent videos and kind of took a break, blah, blah, blah. You know, sometimes you just want to quit YouTube. It's not every day, bro. But we are back. Better than ever. Nice little break. Just needed a little weekend off. I just played too many games. I know, tough life. But here's the AG10, and I am pretty impressed with the AG10. Surprisingly impressed. And I think a couple people actually pointed this out in the forums. I think they talked about the AG10 Patriot Edition. They said, like, hey, I know the best gun for farming now is the AG10 Patriot. And they're not wrong. I would say without a doubt the SMR16, especially Autumn Edition, is just so much better. That's a gun you should be using if you're an assault rifle farmer in Afterpulse version 1.8.0. But the AG10 is a close second, tied for second, maybe third. We'll see what else we play with coming up here, but I mean, it feels good, you know. I think feel is a big aspect to me, because if you're gonna sit in training all day, which is the sad reality of Afterpulse, I mean, we've all done it, right? You want it to feel good, and that's one of the things with like the BRW or the FAR N, which you'll see coming up. We haven't done the FAR N yet, but those guns, they just don't feel good, regardless of how they perform, which isn't good, you know, coincidentally, but they don't have a good feel to them. It's not a good experience to play with, and you'll actually see a couple other guns that just straight up don't feel good. One of which is the FM Wildcat Delta, which you will see. I think we got a 5-star of that guy. You know, it's a rare gun. It should be relatively good, but it just really doesn't feel good to play with. But there is a match with the AG10. Just 2 challenges completed, so no different than the A500 or CQR 2000 or whatever. But it did feel decent. You know, there's something to be said for the feel, even though we don't have anything to show for it on paper that it's explicitly better. Like the SMR16 Autumn was just explicitly, undebatably, in my opinion, better. But either way, we got the DMR17 7-star next up here. I forgot to show you the stats, or the 360 spin around, whatever, but not really a huge deal. Basically, the main drawback of this gun is the very slow reload speed, which I've mentioned many times in past videos. I did post videos with like the DMR17 AWD 2016, at least just some like gameplay, not like proper reviews or anything. I have used my 7-star DMR17, the one I'm using here, in a couple videos in the past, albeit very briefly. And, you know, there's not too much to say about it, but I have said many times that the biggest drawback to this gun is the slow reload speed, and that's where the gear we're wearing, the tactical beret gear, offers us that nice reload boost. It's definitely, I think it's a must-have with the DMR17. I think I wouldn't even bother trying to use the DMR17 in training without the reload boost. And you know, we just reloaded there. It didn't seem too bad, but it really is bad compared to other guns. So something to keep in mind. I wouldn't recommend the DMR17, although once you do reload, once you're shooting, you can shoot for a pretty long amount of time, which is good, because you can, in training, you can target a lot of players back and forth, blah, blah, blah. It's a good attribute to have, but nothing exceptional stands out about this gun. It's just kind of there. Not really too much to say about it. And when I was talking about the tactical beret gear, it brought to mind a couple other points, or really just one other point, is that I said I was wearing the tactical beret gear for every gun that we'll use in this video, so we're keeping it consistent in that sense. But things to consider are that, for example, the 6-star Adam Tyrant Praetorian gear set, if you use that with a CQR 2000 Adam or the AARS 15, which we don't use in this video, like that could be better, you know, it could be a better gear set for that gun, and that could make it better than our SMR 16 Autumn. Something to keep in mind, like certain gear might change things up and make things different, but we're just keeping it consistent and using the same gear. And so, as mentioned earlier, we got the FM Wildcat Delta up. We got a 5-star, not maxed out, but pretty close. And you'll see here coming up, I'll just wait until we shoot it for the first time. You'll see for yourself. Yeah, hopefully that came through. It's like, it like stutters, it gallops with every couple rounds. It's really weird. I'll just let you hear it a couple times here. But yeah, so hopefully that came through, and this is one of those guns that just really doesn't feel good. It's like, it's too much of an SMG in my opinion. Obviously it's an assault rifle, but it's got a very SMG feel to it. It's very short range, high fire rate, low ammo. We burn through the ammo so quick. 20 rounds with a high fire rate is just, I don't like it that much. You spend a lot of time reloading. The range isn't that great, like I said, and so if you're trying to pick off someone medium long to long range or very long range, you're probably going to empty an entire magazine, have to reload and start shooting them again to try and take them out. So generally I would not recommend farming with the FM Wildcat Delta. I wouldn't really recommend the gun in general. It's overall pretty disappointing. This is my first time playing with it here, and I know a lot of people, pretty much everyone who had gotten it when it was available, I'm sure they'll bring it back in the future at some point, but most people, are pretty safe to say everyone who has it has said that they don't really like it. Nothing special, and you can pretty much tell by the stats. As I was saying earlier, stats aren't everything, but they do give us a good idea still, and you can pretty much tell by the stats of what you'll get from the FM Wildcat Delta. The stats do not lie with this one, and that's not to say that it's terrible. It's just not the best, and it's not very fun to play with. It doesn't have that good feel. The stutter gets annoying if you turn your sound off, if you turn your in-game sound off. If you play without sound, it's not a big deal. You won't even notice the stutter. But with the sound on, you can definitely notice the stutter every time, and it just kind of throws you off. I don't know if it's just animation sound type of thing, or if it actually affects the performance. That would be a cool test to try and figure out. But there's a match with the FM Wildcat Delta, 37-0, so pretty low considering we didn't die at all. 37 kills was, I think, our lowest so far, although we did get our usual 2 challenges, so it's almost, or pretty much just as good as the A500, CQR 2000, other guns at this point. And next up we got the FM Bobcat Echo. This is a 7-star, not quite maxed out, but you know, getting up there, close to maxed out. And we'll see how this guy does. There are several skinned editions of the FM Bobcat. We got the Panther, we got the Jade, we got the Cinnabar. Trying to think if I missed any. I don't think so. I think that's it for the FM Bobcat. Could be wrong. There's so much in this game now. They're just, you know, adding stuff like crazy. The gear perks are getting crazy out of hand, so it's hard to keep everything straight just off the top of my head anymore. But this is just a regular FM Bobcat, and one of the hallmarks of this gun is the scope or the lens or the reticle or whatever. If you scope in, it looks obviously a lot different than any other gun in the game, and I bring that up because that just made me think about the fact that I am not scoping in any of these training matches, and that's another thing to mention, along with the different gear setups like I briefly talked about earlier. It's my preference, it's my style of play, and the fact of the matter is that we're keeping it consistent between weapons here. And so if we don't scope in with any of the weapons, it's a decently fair comparison. But like I said, this is not a thorough test. It would be literally 10 hours of footage if we actually did a thorough, complete test with controls and whatever, like complete like scientific experiment of what is the best assault rifle in Afterpulse in the current version 1.8.0. And so there's just so many factors, and I just stuck with my play style. I kept it consistent. I didn't scope in, and just saying that because certain guns might get a huge boost when you scope in. You know, some of them have a huge difference when you do scope in and use the scope. And I know a lot of you guys out there do rely on the scope or use this scope heavily. Me, I just don't like it. I think, especially on a small device, I play on the smallest screen that Afterpulse is available, at least for now. Maybe more on that coming soon. But I do at the moment play on the smallest screen that Afterpulse is available on, and so I think mobile games, if they're going to target small screen devices, they have to keep the controls absolutely as simple as possible. And we could go on a whole tangent here, and I've talked about it before. 60 kills, I think that's our highest so far. But I just like to keep it really simple. I think trying to hit the scope every time is just, it's too many touchscreen buttons, you know? Just my opinion, just my preference. So the moral of this story, the too long didn't read, I don't know if it's a moral, but what I'm trying to say is that there are other factors, and basically we just tried to keep it as consistent as possible. And so next up we got the Tab XI Panther, and this thing is probably safe to say the worst assault rifle that you could be using in version 1.8.0 of Afterpulse. I mean, I could just shut up and let the footage speak for itself. It's actually a miracle that I've talked this long. Shout out to anybody who's watching. That brings me, I was gonna say, when I was talking about the screen, that I play on the smallest screen currently available. I did mention in probably my last video, when you see this video, I don't even know anymore, after taking a couple days off and whatever, but I did mention the potential for an iPhone giveaway, and this is not me saying 100%, but if you're watching to this point, you probably watch all of my videos, you probably watch all of my videos, you know, you watch the videos in their entirety, and you are a true supporter. So I'll let you know that we are probably like 80% sure doing an iPhone 8 giveaway. I'm thinking iPhone 8 Plus, the bigger one, with the 64 gigabyte storage. I think that's more than enough. I don't really see a reason to get the 128 gig, and so we'll probably give away that one. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually buy it for myself, try it out for a couple weeks, and just play Afterpulse on it. You know, I'll keep it in brand new condition, and then I'm going to pre-order and get the iPhone 10 or iPhone X. I think it's cooler to call it the iPhone X. So I might just say iPhone X. Please don't chop my head off or anything. But I think I'm going to try the iPhone 8 for a couple of weeks just to see how it is, and then maybe set a couple milestones, like, you know, 2,500 subscribers or something, nothing too crazy. But say if we hit that, then I'll give away the iPhone 8, and then I'll move on to the iPhone 10, and then we might also do a giveaway for an iPhone 10. I'm still undecided about that one. That one's going to be, you know, a little more expensive. So not totally sure yet. I'm like 50% sure on that one, 80% sure on iPhone 8, about 50% sure on iPhone 10. But I guess all I'm saying is stay tuned for that if you're interested. And I just figured I'd mention it at the end of this video. Like I said, if you're watching to this point, you're a true supporter, and I genuinely appreciate you. So you guys deserve the info, and we'll see what we can come up with. Obviously, you know, if I do a giveaway, I'm trying to gain a couple subscribers or gain, I don't know, Twitter followers or something. So we might set like milestones or something to reach in order to give it away. But at the end of the day, you know, I just want to give back to you guys, at least one of you, and over time, more of you guys. I'll do more giveaways for sure. But just, you know, as a thank you for being here, sticking with me. I mean, it's crazy to, you know, I flipped out when I got my first 100 subscribers, and we're still one of the smallest channels on YouTube, but I think we can stick it out for the long run and actually build something great out of this. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has watched and supported and liked and commented and shared and all that YouTube social media stuff up until this point. You know, bigger shout outs to anyone who follows me on Twitter, Instagram, or join my Discord. You know, all those links are in the description. And so yeah, just genuinely thank you, and we'll see what we can come up with. Like I said, still not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure we'll probably be doing that. And so I'll come up with the, you know, contest rules or whatever, specific criteria for entering. You know, I want to figure out a fair, good way to do it where everyone has a chance and stuff. So we'll see what we can come up with, but pretty sure I'll be doing that. So I just went off on a huge tangent there, but definitely looking forward to that. And we'll see how Afterpulse is on the iPhone 8. We'll see how Afterpulse is on the iPhone 10 in a couple of weeks here. So, well, iPhone 10 isn't for, it's like a full month and a half really, but we'll figure it out, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. And so I think this is our last assault rifle in our journey. We did every assault rifle, not every skin of every assault rifle, but just one version of each assault rifle, except for the AARS-15. And this last one here is the far end, didn't really say anything about it. But, you know, as to be expected, 36, 1, and 4. I think that's our lowest number of kills yet, if I'm not mistaken. I think we had 37 with another one, so I think 36 is our lowest. But we did, coincidentally, get quite a lot of challenges. I don't know. I'm going to say that that's a fluke, and either way, I was talking about feel before. The far end just doesn't feel that great. And so, hands down, at the end of this video, I would say that the SMR 16 Autumn is currently the best assault rifle to be farming with to maximize your rewards, to maximize your return on investment. And Afterpulse, I'd give the AG10 a close second, and that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you watched the whole thing, you're crazy. Let me know in the comments below if you did. Maybe I'll figure out a way to give you some bonus points in the giveaway entries. I'm trying to figure out something for that, so stay tuned. And as always, I will catch you on the next video.